Mark Zuckerberg was at the Senate yesterday, and it was an utterly meaningless spectacle. Senators like to call in various corporate misdoers into the Senate and the House, and then get some clips where they berate them and look like they're protecting the public interest, and then do nothing about it. And that was essentially what happened yesterday with Mark Zuckerberg. But this exchange with Senator Bill Nelson from Florida, who I hate to tell you, pretty soon I'm going to be encouraging you to go vote for in his reelection campaign. He, the frame of this question is awe-inspiring. This is a United States senator with regulatory authority talking to the head of arguably the most significant sector of the American economy and the emerging and the global economy. And the whole point and context of this hearing is that Facebook needs oversight and is in the most benign scenario has engaged in massive errors, if not outright unethical practices, is in need of serious reform. Check out how Bill Nelson frames this question to Zuckerberg.
Mr. Zuckerberg, good afternoon. Let me just cut to the chase. If you and other social media companies do not get your act in order, none of us are going to have any privacy anymore. That's what we're facing. We're talking about personally identifiable information that, if not kept by the social media companies from theft, a value that we have in America being our personal privacy, we won't have it anymore. It's the advent of technology, and of course, all of us are part of it. From the moment that we wake up in the morning until we go to bed, we're on those handheld tablets. And online companies like Facebook are tracking our activities and collecting information.
That's a fucking good point.
Yeah, but it's not totally a fucking good point, Joe, because the whole purpose of being in the Senate is that you can say things like, and I would argue that actually there's a much, much broader need for regulation of all Silicon Valley, as well as anti-monopoly efforts, in some cases absolutely nationalization. But he didn't say, listen, kid, you effed up. So I have a piece of legislation that I'm going to push to ensure privacy for your users and penalties for your mishaps. He just said, our privacy's in your hands, 30-something android who's already proven that you have absolutely no even passing ethical or policy concern. In fact, your entire business model is built on mining data. And that is why I'm going to play this exchange where we're violating the make assholes look sort of good rule, because one, Orrin Hatch is in fact just being an asshole here, but finally an asshole to someone who deserves some of that treatment. And there's some sort of basic reality we're getting to here that, like, what is Facebook's actual business model? And the sort of just the disingenuousness of Zuckerberg's response here.
Doing that.
Well, if so, how do you sustain a business model in which users don't pay for your service?
Senator, we run ads.
I see. That's
right. Yeah. They don't just run ads. They data mine and traffic in every single aspect of human information and traffic in who you are to every interested party in the planet, right? So that, like, all of the issues that people are freaking out about with Cambridge Analytica and Russians and fake news and all of this stuff, first of all, I'm terrified, and you should be too, of what Facebook's internal mechanisms for regulating quote unquote fake news are. Okay, that's going to scoop up also. Yes, it might hurt some conspiracy Alex Jones garbage. It's also jeopardizes investigative journalism on CIA abuses in Afghanistan, right? If you're just doing algorithmically and you have no contextual insight, there's no distinction made in that type of thing. And that's why we've seen massive drops in, I think it was Alternet's content as an example on Facebook and other, lefty outlets, which whatever their problems are not conspiracy theory rags. And then, so yes, saying that Facebook just sells ads is like saying that, I don't know, Lockheed Martin helps people transport themselves. It's sort of technically true, but very misleading as to the actual reach and nature of the company.
To help with connectivity.
And they do help with connectivity. Actually, I've been finding a lot of connectivity. I look at Facebook and I look at some of my connectivity, and I'm not sure I want that connectivity.
We connect you to fascists.
Yeah, all right. We connect you to fascists. There's a personal pipeline to the fascist perspective.
What if fascists wanted a voice in your government?
What if fascists want? So we thought to ourselves, what if fascists wanted to spread propaganda directly to you? This is Lindsey Graham, and we actually have a theory as to why Lindsey was so tough with Zuck. But this is also a legitimate question.
If I buy a Ford and it doesn't work well and I don't like it, I can buy a Chevy. If I'm upset with Facebook, what's the equivalent product that I can go sign up for?
Well, there's the second category that I was going to talk about.
I'm not talking about categories. I'm talking about, is there real competition you face? Because car companies face a lot of competition. If they make a defective car, it gets out in the world, people stop buying that car, they buy another one. Is it an alternative to Facebook in the private sector?
Yes, Senator. The average American uses 8 different apps to communicate with their friends and stay in touch with people, ranging from texting apps to email.
The same service you provide.
Well, we provide a number of different services.
Is Twitter the same as what you do?
It overlaps with a portion of what we do.
You don't think you have a monopoly?
It certainly doesn't feel like that to me.
Okay. So it doesn't. So Instagram, you bought Instagram. Why did you buy Instagram?
Because they were very talented app developers who were making good use of our platform and understood our values.
It was a good business decision. My point is that one way to regulate a company is through competition, through government regulation. Here's the question that all of us got to answer. What do we tell our constituents, given what's happened here, why we should let you self-regulate? What would you tell people in South Carolina that, given all the things we've just discovered here, it's a good idea for us to rely upon you to regulate your own business practices?
Well, Senator, my position is not that there should be no regulation. Okay. I think the internet is increasingly important.
Do you embrace regulation?
I think the real question, as the internet becomes more important in people's lives, is what is the right regulation, not whether there should be or not.
But you as a company welcome regulation?
I think if it's the right regulation,
then
yes.
You think the European...
If it's written by the lobbyists that we have just contracted on K Street, and it caters to all of our policy demands and also blocks us from future competition.
Yes, and locks us in as a monopoly.
Locks us in as a monopoly. I would absolutely support that. Why did we buy Instagram? Snapchat was making an aggressive play, and they were actually stupid enough to think that this is somehow actually still an up-for-grabs marketplace. So what we did was we went over to Instagram, we offered them a play, and now Snapchat is totally irrelevant. You can get nude pictures from random girls on Instagram and use less data in your phone, which is really going to matter when you guys peel back net neutrality. Use logic.
Regulation, then yes.
You think the Europeans have it right?
I think that they get things right.
Have you ever submitted? That's true. So would you work with us in terms of what regulations you think are necessary in your industry?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would you submit to us some proposed regulations?
Yes, and I'll have my team follow up with you so that way we can have this discussion across the different categories where I think that this discussion needs to happen.
Privacy, no. Competition, no. Locking in our algorithms as proprietary and exclusive, yes. Oh, yeah. Voting on Facebook in a way that is easily. What if you wanted an election to be hacked? That was a question we asked ourselves. I mean, it's funny. I mean, obviously, I mean, it's not just that Facebook is a monopoly. The big four, right? I mean, the big five, rather. I mean, Google, Apple, Amazon, and Facebook. That's the big four. They control essentially every single aspect of most people's user experience on the internet. And this is the most important part of how people interact with our economy, in many ways socially, and also the future of journalism, content, democratic participation, and machine learning. I mean, it is all built on commons that are foundationally private platforms. It's not even. I mean, that is like Lindsey Graham should have been asking this question 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I think it took them a little while to catch up with what was going on there.
Listen, Mr. Zuckerberg, I am neither sexually attracted to you, nor do I think you have the opportunity to get us into a war with Iran and North Korea. So I'm not in the mood to ask you softballs.
Hit the bricks, pal.
You went there. You took it there. I can't wait.
I miss a Lindsay impression. I also just feel weird every time. Like, he was actually very good there, and he still is like a horrifying warmonger. So I just feel weird not at least making fun of him a little bit.
It's going to be nice after the Rev when Zuck's head is on a pike and we can all use Commie Book in a nice way and just keep in touch with our families.
To help with connectivity.
Connectivity. Just to be clear, she doesn't mean that literally.
Oh, yeah, no.
Not literally.
This is the irony bike bell.
Yeah, thank you. That was the that was the way in which we deployed our new irony bike bell. No, I look forward to re-educating Zuck. Actually,
Yeah,
not me
totally.
personally. I don't really want to be in the same room.
Four
as this guy.
walls are just enough for him.
Wait,
We should think of the best karmic punishment for Zuckerberg for this. Maybe I'll ponder that over the course
I don't
of
even think. The thing about Zuck is it doesn't even.
I want to be punitive.
Just manual labor, honestly. Like, I don't even think it needs to be all that elaborate. Like, if you just said, dude, like, you're not sitting in front of screens all day. Like, you have to go, like, you just have, you know what? Normal work hours, breaks, proper wage, but just like, you just need to physically build houses and do like brush work all day.
Landscaping. Zuckerberg?
Landscaping.
I love that. I would love that.
Yeah.
I like that you have a non-carceral solution for this, as do I.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's not true in all cases, but definitely not true in all cases, but Zuck's okay.